Hi everyone, this is Dr. Heena from Worldify Overseas. I'll quickly check through that if you guys can see us online live on YouTube. For your responses, I'm expecting you to at least mention in chat box that we are live, you can see us so that we get started quickly next. So I expect everyone who has yet not joined, please quickly join us because today we are going to have a session which is definitely going to be way more informative. At the same time, we have special guest here for all of us to hear back from, and we'll be asking him a lot of questions. We'll keep on bothering him. We have Luke here from MCAST, and we have. A managing director of Worldify overseas here, Nirmal Singh Rauthan, and myself, Dr. Hina from Worldify Overseas. You've seen me online already so many times on social media, and this is not the first time that I'm coming here to introduce myself. But yes, we are going to make it more interesting. And with every single session and show, we are improving, we are coming up with more information. We can definitely make sure that the information that we are delivering is accurate as much as possible. Making your journey as easy as possible is our job, and we promise to do it with all sheer dedication and commitment. Making sure the agenda of the session is very more clear, that we are going to speak about the latest intake 2026 and making it way more grand. We would hear back from Luke here what he's expecting the session to be all about, and how is he.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you again, Worldify, for inviting me. I do hope that this will be a very interesting session, and I look forward to being asked many, many questions, as many as possible. There's nothing that gives me better joy than answering and clarifying any concerns students may have, because ultimately it's my goal. I just love it so much to have as many international students as possible come here, because it's just so fascinating to see how this campus has transformed in the last 7 years into something that was very national to something that feels really international now. We're looking at more than 1 in 5 students not being Maltese nowadays at MCAS, which makes for a very vibrant society. And it's really important for us because we want to have a free world where people are easy to move around. That's why I'm very interested now to see where, for example, with India, where the recent India-EU deal will go to. So I think these sessions are going to become even more and more important as we align further and further together in our free world. Hina, do you
Okay.
want to start with the agenda?
Great. Yeah, of course. So, Luke, I did understand exactly the entire previous 2 years that we have been associated with altogether with MCAS. We could see a lot of applicants actually excited and curious about Malta. So, would you like to give a small brief introduction about MCAS and how we are associated with you guys in order to move
Yes,
forward,
yes, of
please?
course. Of course, MCAST is the leading vocational institution in Malta. We offer a lot of courses in a lot of different fields. We're into aquaculture. We have courses in nursing, inclusive education, sports, pharmacy studies, welding, applied data science. You name it. If our industry wants it, we have a course in it. This is the key thing to know about MCAS. MCAS is so involved in the local and European industry. We get in touch with our market providers all the time. They come and they ask us, "Do you have courses to do this?" As soon as we hear something like that, we develop a course immediately This is why it's really important that you keep this in mind. This is not a kind of university where we want you to be really good at writing. We'd like for you to be good at writing. We will help you with those skills, but we are very much geared towards making sure you have the exact skills at the time that the market wants from you, because we're very, very focused on having highly skilled individuals who are readily prepared and even provided experience in the field before they even finish their course with us. So this is why, if you are interested in doing something and not just learning about something, MCAS is one of the best choices. Now, we have been working quite a while with Worldify, and we see that we get some excellent students through their assistance now. You'll probably think, a lot of people will tell you it's quite easy maybe to come over and study, but it's a very difficult thing to do. It's a choice you make. You decide to move across the world. I've done it before myself. I know how it feels, and this is why it's so important to have as much support as possible. And this is what myself and Worldify are offering you. Each time we interact with you, we want to provide you with the support. We want to make these difficult processes, these difficult decisions as easy as possible for you.
That was wonderful listening it back from you, Hinchy. And I always believe as a team that we have been catering a lot of programs that we have been educating even our students. Those who are coming to us every now and then. Those who are looking forward for some exposure, especially in industry-led programs. Then, of course, the MCAST has to be first choice. Okay, taking it forward, I would request Nirmal to please provide a small insight exactly about Worldify, that what we are intending to do and how we are collaborating with students to make sure their journey for overseas is well fabricated and well crafted.
I'm audible now?
Yes,
I'm so sorry. Yeah. Hi,
it's okay.
everyone. This is Nirmal, the Managing Director of Worldify Overseas. If I talk about Worldify, currently we are having different segments where we are helping the students from different specializations. So first of all, we are having a healthcare department where we are helping the nurses to settle overseas for their work, for studies in different destinations. Second, we are having the segments of study overseas for undergrad or PG students, and who wants to pursue their career in different specialization in different locations. Third, we are having our training centers where we are helping the students for different examinations like IELTS, OET, PTE, TOEFL, DHA examination, hard, prometrics. So this is our third junction. So as of now, we are running three junctions, and in the coming time, we are coming with one more junction, which is a work permit, where we are going to support all the candidates who is looking for the job and who wants to work abroad. So this is all about Worldify as of now. And yes, over to Hina.
Okay, great. Good to hear back the entire introduction about Worldify. And it was definitely informative for those who are looking forward for such a support. They can definitely knock us. We'll take a quick look over the roadmap that we are today going to discuss. First of all, in the beginning phase, I would request Luke to take about a small introduction about MCAST and Malta and key reasons of choosing them. All right. Then comes why MCAST has to be very significant, important point. Basically, that has been an important discussion amongst the students. Of course, I'll take over. Coming upon the courses that we do have, we'll have a quick look over the courses that we are having, in which streams are we catering the courses for MCAST. Then we'll come upon the most interesting part that we are today going to explore all the myths unclogging. That is what I love to do is like asking a lot of questions, and I will keep on bothering today Luke and unlimited time, making sure that he is answering all those questions well. And this would be on behalf of all the students that I do receive every single day, the queries from them to make sure their journey and their mind, whatever the clutter is there, that gets unclogged. So the basic purpose of this myths unclogging would be this. Coming up on the deadlines, we'll soon hear back from you what the deadlines are all about, and we'll conclude the session this way. Okay, so making sure now the agenda is clear and the pathway is already clear. Let me just put this over Mr. Luke exactly to introduce MCAS, because he, like, this opportunity can be given none more important person than Luke can definitely explain about MCAS by himself. Yeah, it's his domain. Luke, go
Yes,
ahead, please.
yes. Yes, yes. So, as I was saying previously, the Malta College of Art, Science and Technology is the leading vocational educational institution in Malta. Now, this is important because what that means is that we exist as the major bridge between what the industry wants and what students need to acquire. So, as may have been highlighted already, we are extremely focused on maintaining our courses. We do cyclical reviews every few months to ensure that each and one of our courses actually will meet the upcoming demands of the sector. We're part of committees, we're part of chambers of commerces, we're part of a variety of different organizations. We do this because we want to make sure that what we give to our students will actually be something that they can use to build their careers moving forward. That's why all of our lecturers are heavily involved in the industries as well. They're either former leads industry or they are lecturers at the same time as doing the actual professions that they are discussing with you. So, for example, a number of our engineers, for example, in our construction engineering courses, are active construction engineers who are lecturing you about the realities of what they face on the job. Beyond that, a lot of our courses do include not only practical experiences, uses of simulators, they will also include apprenticeships and internships. So this is getting your foot in the door when you do a course with us. Um, we have many courses, as I was saying, but another factor that is very important to understand about MCAST is that we have courses at many levels. So this also means that if you, for instance, have a certain gap in your education, maybe you don't have the normal level to enter into a bachelor's degree, for example, we will have a course at a lower level that will build you towards that bachelor's degree access. Likewise, if you have done a bachelor's degree, we have master's degrees. They're available for you. So we're with strong industry connections, and we are here to build an educational path around you in line with what the industry needs. So you can become an ideal candidate once you finish your studies with MCAST. Now, beyond that, MCASs offer a number of services to students while they're here. We have our international office that I'm part of, where we are there for every need you could possibly imagine while you're here. We really want students to feel supported. I want students to feel supported because I used to be an international student myself. I'm not Maltese, and this is important. I understand exactly what it can feel like to be far away from everybody you know, all right,
That's
and
true.
adapting to a new place. So we understand this. Our office is made up of individuals who understand that perfectly, but we also have a number of other services. We have sports services, so you can have your health fitness while you're here. We have psychologists, we have nutritionists, we have inclusive education support services. We have many things that we offer to students alongside the studies to ensure that they make the best out of what they're studying and they are the most prepared as possible once they leave from MCAS. Because what we want from our students is we want to see them grow and become success, because we know that a successful student is a new contact for us inside the industry. They will remember their time at MCAST, and that will come to pay the next generation of students moving forward. So that is why MCAST exists. MCAST exists to be this bridge between an industry that needs skilled workers and students who want to have skills. So that is why you really need to pick MCAST if you want to. Now, when we're talking about Malta specifically, we have the east of Malta being a English-speaking country, which makes a difference. Please do trust me. I used to live in France before I used to live in Malta, and having to learn another language can cause some difficulties in your studies, even if you are a perfect speaker of that language or extremely fluent. If you haven't learned it inside the culture that they expect you to have it in, it can be a bit difficult to not only adapt to a new culture, but also adapt to a new language while you're doing that. So this is one of the advantages you will get out of Malta, is that it is English speaking. So you only really need to adapt to our way of being here in Malta. Now, what's important to know about Malta is we're not just a recently multicultural country. It's been one like that for. It's hard to really determine when Malta's multicultural status started, but it's been thousands of years that people have been coming to Malta and integrating into Malta. And so you can feel this multiculturality of Malta when you're walking in the street, when you're looking at the architecture. You will see influences that will remind you of home sometimes when you're here in Malta, because it has such a capacity to integrate new cultures all the time. It is the island of, you know, vibrancy, of interchange. It's a crossroads right now in Europe, but not just with Europe, with the rest of the world as well. Now, being in the Schengen zone, this also means that Malta will offer you the possibility of traveling to other countries while you're studying. Now, you do need to pay attention to this. You do need to go to class. You need to keep your attendance up, but it is something to keep in note, because this access to the Schengen zone will also allow you to access other opportunities that we will speak about in a moment. The other thing to understand about Malta is that it has quite an affordable living when compared to other countries inside the EU. And we do offer a pathway for students to get a long-term residence, which will provide the right to movement and to work without doing any extra steps once it is obtained. It will take 5 years to get this long-term residence. There is a path that you can opt for. You just need to be committed to remaining in Malta for that amount of time. Now, let's imagine you take a 3-year course of studies. That's already those 3 years done by the time you're finished with the 3 years. And then at that point, you can either work for 2 more years before getting the long-term residence. There are some other requirements you need to meet, but we'll be happy to help you understand those when you're here in Malta. Or it could be that you continued your studies with a master's, and that's another 2 years. And you've already done the 5 years that will allow you to meet that requirement of the permanent residence. As I've been implying through my talk so far, there are many work opportunities available in Malta, and this is why the industry keeps coming to us at MCAS, asking us for more skilled workers, or students basically. Students can work part-time while they're studying, and they can also obtain what's called a job-seeking residency upon completion of their course. Now, it's important to understand that there are some requirements to the job-seeking residency. Mainly, this means that you need to have been doing either a bachelor's degree or a master's degree to access it. If you do a lower level course, it won't be applicable for you as things stand. However, having said that, you can either continue with your studies or find work immediately. If you're doing our lower level courses, they're quite hands-on and they do involve a lot of placement. So by the time you finish them, you will know who the key industry partners of MCAST are. You'll probably, if you impress enough, be guided towards the opportunities that they are trying to provide. Because at the end of the day, they want skilled workers so that they can effectively do their activities. Now, there are other aspects that are make Malta very interesting. Our government here in Malta is very keen on having qualified workers. And this scheme exists because basically, once you finish the course, you'll be able to apply for up to a 70% tax rebate. But to get a tax rebate, you need to understand the deal that is involved here. So this is not a direct refund. This is once you've paid enough taxes after your course, working as a full-time employee, you'd be able to apply for this scheme. So what that guarantees for Malta is that upon finishing training with MCAST, you would then become an employee and you would be contributing to the society, because that is the ultimate goal here. We want to have persons contributing to our beautiful society. And in order to promote that, we offer this scheme in Malta. But you need to understand what the meaning of offering such a scheme is. It means that there are other opportunities available to students of MCAST beyond Malta inside the EU. This is why when you're studying at MCAS, it will be very interesting for you to perhaps get involved with our Erasmus office. So MCAS is part of the Erasmus network, and what that will open the door to is a number of opportunities relating to our partners across the EU and in the Schengen zone. This can mean an internship. It can mean an internship abroad. It can mean having a semester with one of our partner educational institutions. It can also mean participating in a short project, maybe a week or two, with a number of other participants from a number of other participating organizations. What that is a great networking opportunities where you could meet 26 different people doing 26 different things, all coming together to carry out one project. And can you imagine what that looks like then when you submit an application with an employer? It shows that you already have been doing multi-organizational project management. It's quite a perk to have. Now, this opportunity is funded by the EU when it's Erasmus network opportunities, but obviously students who do the best and who show the most initiative are chosen first. So it's important that when you're at MCAS that you do your best, because by doing your best, you will start getting rewarded by the system itself. Now, MCAS does have tuition fees. We do charge them by semester. They're dependent on the level of the course that you do, and they're dependent on the duration of the course. Now, most of the October courses that will be starting soon will have the first installment that you need to pay, hovering around 4,000 euros. In some courses, it's a bit more, in some courses, a bit less, but it will be around the equivalent of 4,000 euros. This has to be paid because of the visa processing requirements before you apply for a visa. What you need to know is that these funds will be returned to you if you do not obtain a visa. It's important to understand that it is always possible not to obtain a visa. It's unfortunate, it's true, but by working with Worldify, you can increase your chances in getting it. It's not a guarantee, it can never be a guarantee, but rest assured that if you prepare yourself in a certain way, you can increase your opportunities of getting the visa. And if you are very unfortunate, you will be provided with every single assistance to remedy the scenario. Now, when in some cases that means applying again and trying to prepare better. In other cases, it just means you get your funds refunded, and every other documentation that you had provided, you had prepared for the small possibility of this happening. In that case, you limit the amount of loss that you experience in this process. Unfortunately, there will always be an element of risk that we cannot control. But the reward is so much more worth it. This is why you really need to engage. You need to take the lead as well. You need to understand what you're doing. You need to make a proper analysis of whether you're in a good place to move to Malta. And you can do that by approaching Worldify, and they will guide you through everything. They are our experts. In some cases, they know things better than us. I'm afraid to say this, but it is true. They do know some things that I will not know because they are there for you. They deal with it every day. And I really do hope that you take advantage of the services that they're offering you. Again, I have mentioned before that MCAS is very, very open to students. And in fact, some of our courses do have scholarships that are available. They're based on attendance and grades, and they affect the bachelor's degree mainly in the last year. We also have English language requirements at MCAS, but again, we are open to students submitting us letters from their previous institutions, whereby they state that they've already studied in English, and that will be enough to meet our requirements. And again, this is something that you need to understand very, very clearly. MCAST doesn't really care that you have a huge education gap, that you decided to go and work before returning to studies. In fact, we are very interested in students that may not be following the normal path, let's say, of I completed my school studies and now I want to do a bachelor's degree. In some cases, we think that students who have maybe had 10 years experience working provide a sort of new interest and new approach inside our courses that we could not provide if we only had the same student from the same place with the same background. And so what you'll see at MCAST is that we have a campus built for diversity of our students rather than the similitude of our students. And so this is why if you have any education gaps, then MCAST is the place for you to be considering. It's not otherwise.
All right. Sorry
Um,
to interrupt you, Luke here.
yes, no problem.
Uh, if any students would like to go for a bachelor degree and having a gap
Mhm.
of, somewhere 9 to 10 years, will that be acceptable for that person?
It's perfectly acceptable. It's what we're built to have. I mean, we
That's
can
great.
have students with no gaps, and that's perfect. We want them as well. But even students with gaps, they provide a certain level of experience to the course. So this will benefit other students beyond themselves. And this is something
Yes,
that we find to be very important. We don't want a sort of factory of studies. We want students interacting with each other, and we want them to have different backgrounds. Why do we want this? Because when they go to the industry, the workplace, they're going to meet people who have 20 years experience. They're going to meet people who have 2 years experience. And so we need to have people. We need to have people with
that's
gaps.
great. Yes. Generally, what happens, after senior secondary, majority of the universities, they do not accept long gap. Right.
Hmm.
So recently I got a query because there was one applicant who was supporting his father in his business,
Of
after
course.
completion of his senior secondary. And from last 10 to 15 years, he couldn't pursue his study due to his family business. So I
Then
hope now he can come to
all I can
pursue
say
his
is
bachelor degree.
I encourage him to apply to MCAST.
That's perfect. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, so I mean, I've been saying we have a variety of different courses and at a variety of different levels. Um, some of the things I want to highlight is that although we do have a wide array of courses, what's most interesting about how we deliver our courses is that they're very hands-on. We have an array of simulators. We have a nursing simulator. We have a green room for media production. We provide our fashion students training in fashion software. Okay. We have salons for hairdressing and beauty technicians. So any course that you're doing with MCAST is going to be done in such a way where you are carrying out the activity that an employer would want you to be proficient in. And you're given access to the tools that perhaps would cost you a lot to get access to if you did it on your own as part of your studies. And this, I think, is one of the most key aspects of MCAS is that, if you want to do, let's say, studies in with semiconductors, you're going to be dealing with what for example, ST Microelectronics would have prepared with us as a simulator for the activity that you need to carry out. And I think this is one of the most important parts about MCAS is that you are doing the activity and learning about it. And we don't really see that elsewhere as a sort of approach to education. In a lot of places will talk about it indirectly and provide experience in shared um, processes. But what we're doing here at MCAS is if you're working in the aviation, if you want to work in the aviation industry and you're following an aviation course, you're looking at the airplane. It's there for you to interact with. Okay. I think perhaps at this point you might want to tackle me with the bit first round. Is that it? Was that on the agenda next? Yes, I think so it is. So shall we? What are the myths that you wanted to present to me?
Okay, great. I'm ready with my questions. I hope everybody is interested to even know questions that I'm going to ask further. And the questions are, of course, from the students native directly. So I'll make sure that I ask clearly, completely in the language that would they ask. Okay. Making sure that everybody is aware that MCAS is having all the courses related to your undergraduate diploma, post-graduation diploma, bachelor's, and bespoke courses. So they are having all these variety of courses to cater. You can definitely go through the website to get the confirmation about the courses. And if you want our help, I can help you shortlist the courses. Our application team is dexterously helping you all to do that actively. So we are ready and we are set with Miss Bus around. Luke, I hope you're also having your seatbelts tied. Moving ahead, the
Yes,
first
yes.
question goes. First question goes to you: is that any country that we can see that Malta has banned? Because there are a lot of rumors in the market that Nigeria is
Yes,
banned,
yes, yes.
Nepal is banned, Philippines is banned. So we would like to hear back from you directly.
All right. So, is there any country that Malta bans? Yes, there are. Um, None of the ones that you've mentioned are involved in that official ban. Any country that is banned, it would be very obvious from a geopolitical position with respect to the EU that they have been banned for that reason. So, I mean, countries that are noted to be currently having, let's say, issues with the EU will definitely be on that list. These countries are not Nigeria, they're not Nepal, they're not Philippines. We've never heard anything official about that. I do know that currently, for a variety of reasons, Russia would be on that list, North Korea would be on that list. So here we're looking at countries that probably aren't able to engage with the EU anyway to begin with. So you wouldn't hear about MCAST if the country was banned.
Okay, great. Good to know that exactly now. Anybody from Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and India, please don't be scared of applying and going ahead because you're not
If
banned. All
if it's
right.
if it's India, again, I will point back to the recent signing of the India EU deal, which is one of the points on that matter is to increase mobility. So people from India are definitely anything but banned. They're at this point extremely favored.
Okay, great. So I'm expecting everybody to make the best out of the opportunity that we are having at the moment. Being in India, of course, we are being favored for the complete mobility, as Luke mentioned. So we are going to make sure that we are making best of the opportunity, making sure that we can internationally shine our flags. Next, the question is, Luke, we have seen a lot of times, people are browsing through AI, and I've seen people doing some chat GPT, doing some
Yes.
perplexity. They've been relying so much onto that about the courses, about the
Okay.
fees,
Yeah.
about the recommendations that they
Mm-hmm.
hardly ever go through any of the
Yes.
recommendations
Yes.
from the counselors.
So
Do you feel that it's gonna be more reliable to go for a counselor or the AI?
it's definitely more reliable to go for a counselor, and I will explain to you why. I mean, even before ChatGPT, Perplexity, whichever software you want, Grok even existed. Before we had this problem, we would have the problem of random YouTube videos by unofficial partners. And before that, it would be blog posts, random websites. What you need is information from official sources or officially recognized partners such as Worldify. So Worldify, for example, has a direct line to us. And if ever you have a question that they're unsure with clarifying, they will be calling me within the next minute to get that clarification. So it's important to understand that yes, you can do some level of research on your own. It's possible, but you want to get that information from official sources. And right now, the official sources available to you are either MCAS staff or um, people like Worldify, official partners that we have. Now, what I wanted to highlight again, and I've highlighted before, is that in some cases, because, for example, Worldify are on the floor, on the field, they know certain things even better than persons at MCAS may know. For instance, I'm involved in the international office, but it doesn't mean that somebody involved in the aviation course will actually know what is happening on
That's
international
true.
markets. So this is
That's so
why
true, Leo.
having these services is to your advantage. But it will also help with other aspects, visa preparations. There's a lot of expertise, a lot of guidance that you can gain from moving forward.
Luke, you have seen a lot of times that we have been bothering you about the students' visa related queries, and a lot of
Mhm.
times we have been bothering the department. So making sure everybody is well aware that we've been doing it dexterously. What remarks would you like to give in response to the team that
Mhm.
application team is working so dexterously about the
Yes,
visa
well, I mean,
success?
we definitely see a difference between persons who pass through our partners and persons who don't when it comes to visa success rate. And that in its own way will show you the importance of having access to information so you can verify that everything is in order and to have the reassurance.
Oh, that was good. Okay, moving ahead. I do have a query that most of the students, then they are coming for overseas, specifically for Canada, UK, Australia,
Hmm.
and New Zealand. They have faced this issue that they always had to have the IELTS mandatory. So is it
Okay.
that, Luke, there are some provisions that they can enter Malta with some exemptions? And if
Yes.
yes, then on what basis?
So when it comes to any MCAS course, there are two documents that you need to present that we will be looking for, no matter what you apply for. And if you don't have these documents in hand, you can't apply for any course. Obviously, every course has its own specific entry requirements, but if you have these two documents, MCAST will definitely have a course for you related to what you want to do. It's just a question of maybe the level of the course that you will be approved for. And one of those documents is an English proficiency document. So, yes, we will look for an IELTS, but we'll also look for a Pearson, we'll look for a TEFL IBT. Um, but we'll also accept, as I was mentioning earlier, a medium of instruction letter. And that's a letter you can acquire where your previous institution confirms that your studies or your course were delivered in the medium of instruction of English. If you have access to that kind of letter, then you will not need to present an IELTS, a Pearson, a PTE test score, a TEFL IBT score. But having said that, if you don't have access to that letter because you didn't study in English, then we will need to see this document because we'll want to be certain that you won't be wasting your time trying to study in a language that you may not have yet the fluency to really retain the information that's being passed on to you. So
Okay, that's
yes,
well
yes,
understood. So
yes,
means if
English,
I come
English,
up with
yes,
MOI gums work,
yes,
okay?
yes, yes,
Is
yes,
it
yes,
great?
exactly.
Okay, next question to you is a quite very typical question because that will
Yes.
help you browse your memory a lot with what all
Hmm.
documents would be required to apply for MCAS if a
Now,
person
see.
comes for any course.
So now, obviously, depending on the course, there will be specific requirements that you need to meet. But as I was saying, there are basic documents you need to present. We spoke about the English language proficiency document, which can be an MOI letter, but you'll also need to obtain an MCURIC statement. An MCURIC statement is a document that analyzes your highest level of qualification that you have against the Maltese qualification framework. Now, it's important to have this document because we are not permitted at MCAS to review your application if you do not have this document. Now, this document is obtained online, but it can be difficult to obtain. And I believe this is something that Worldify assists students routinely in acquiring. And I notice it when we get applications that have not passed through our partners like Worldify, where this MCURIC statement acquisition is quite difficult for students to obtain. It is a difficult document at times to acquire, if you don't know how the process works. And this is again the expertise that you can obtain from Worldify. Other documents that you need, definitely you need to present a certificate. You need to present a mark list. You need to ensure that your passport is valid. Um, and if you have been provided anything else by your school or your university that is supplement to your qualification, you should provide it because it is what can really enhance your application. So once you
Okay.
have those documents in hand, you're ready to move forward with an application.
Okay, great. Luke, that was informative. At the same time, we'll make sure we follow your documentation list, making sure your work is way more easy. So anytime a student is coming to us, we'll provide them a list of documents that they need to serve, and then application team will take charge to make sure the
Mhm.
MQRIC document is well obtained, well applied, making sure the fee is not wasted, and also the application is going further faster.
Actually, I got a question from one of my students. So, Liu, could you please help me with the
Yes, yes, of
scholarship part
course.
that
What is the question?
scholarships?
So the scholarships at MCAST, they
Like students
apply
want to apply
to,
for the bachelor degree and
yes,
he is
yes.
looking for some scholarship.
So the scholarship fund that we have at MCAST, it's designed to, in a sense, reward students who do attend their course and do pass their modules. It's not issued to star students alone. It's issued to any student who is being successful in the course. Now, what that success means is that they are going to class and they are achieving a pass in their modules. This means that the scholarship fund is issued essentially to most students who do a bachelor's degree. And basically, students who are struggling to do the bachelor's degree, by the time they get to the final year, MCAS would have already identified this problem, and we would have most likely guided them to other studies in order to have an actual educational path that is rewarding for them, because we don't want to see students struggling needlessly.
All right. Yeah, please continue now.
Okay. Great. So, a lot of my students have been always looking forward for supporting their family a lot. In India, we are very much kind of, we
Mhm.
wish that we are mobilizing for studying at the same time. We have a lot of responsibilities from family, loans that we have to cater, and students who are coming over there are coming up with the responsibility that their families look forward for their
Yes.
success. They look
Mhm.
forward for them supporting their family at the back end.
Yes.
So they come up with a clear notion that they want to learn and earn. So is it possible, Luke, to learn and earn in Malta, of course?
Yes, it is very possible to do so. Obviously, anybody with an interest in doing so, they need to start their course first and they need to regularize their immigration before even moving forward with such ideas. Um, that's why it's important that students are made aware, okay, that if you're interested in working part-time while studying, that you need to really plan that you would be able to do so maybe on the fourth or fifth month onwards when you're in Malta. Because of the way the visa process operates and the immigration regularization, the time it will take for you to get the required licenses to be permitted to work legally while studying, it will take you a number of months. 5 months is probably a proper expectation. I'm really highlighting this because it is one of the risks that a student can take is that if they choose to work without getting the valid approval from the authorities to do so, it is a deportable offense, and we really don't want to see that happening to students. So, while it is possible and many students do it, it's very important that it's done in a correct way and that students prepare with the reality that it won't happen immediately. And so they do need to have to cover that first 5 months, 4 months, half a year with then understanding that they need to focus fully on studying at that point while waiting for all the approvals to come in. Um, for lower level students, so we're talking about students not doing bachelor's degree, but we're talking about from level 3 and level 4. It is possible. Yes, it happens, but one needs to be aware that it will require constant renewal of documentation due to the way the visa process is organized. For the first year of their studies, they will need to renew this every 3 months. And so that means they will be starting and stopping their part-time work if they do so. And it's something to keep in mind. So that means if you pick a lower level course, if you're accepted into a lower level course, you need to expect that the first year in this case would be rather difficult before you move to the second year and you gain access to um, an easier way to get the right to work part-time.
Well, that's something good that comes about even earning during learning phase that students can definitely rejoice in Malta. I
Mhm.
would love to know exactly like how MCAST is making it more easy to get the placement and
Okay.
apprenticeship during their studies so that they can be
Yes.
actually well assured that they are coming to a country where they're not going to
Yes, yes,
feel
yes, of
alone
course.
when it comes
Of
to
course,
such
of
an
course.
exposure.
We have a fully fledged department. I think there are about like 6 or 7 staff members just dedicated to this. So they interact with our industry partners and they set up apprenticeship opportunities for students, placement opportunities depending on the course. We also have multiple expos where we invite our partners to come and we invite all upcoming apprentices to attend. Like that, they can connect better, they can network. What's interesting about placements and apprenticeships is not only do they give you access to work experience, they give you access to part-time work opportunities, obviously, because you're showing your skills to the employer. And afterwards, if the employer has already seen you work with them for, let's say, a year of placement, and you are an important member of their staff now, even though you were at an apprentice, it becomes a real consideration for the employer because providing you with an employment opportunity means not training you. And that means they
Mm,
already run with a reward for themselves for participating in the apprenticeship program.
mm,
So it is a very, very important element of MCAST, and I do think many students find it rewarding because they get to be there. They get to learn about the actual field, what it's like to do a job, and they have the benefit of a mentor to guide them through the apprenticeship that is assigned to MCAS. So not only do you have mentorship from the partner, you will have mentorship from MCAS as well, which means you get to maybe talk through some of your experiences at the workplace and learn even more about yourself through those one-to-one sessions.
okay, great. Luke, I have heard about a few of the placement, drives that are happening in the campus in MCAS specifically
Hmm.
to make sure all the employers on that particular day, on that special day, are gathering
Yes.
together, and the students are also coming and combining their skills, bringing up their
Hmm.
resumes directly. They are putting on the tables of employers. So, can you just
Yes.
share a bit of that exactly how it is already schematized by MCAS to make sure that
Yes, yes, yes,
uh,
it is.
people get understanding of it too.
Yes, it's a formal component of our courses, so it must happen. We oblige ourselves to make it happen, and so it's not something that we do because we felt like doing it. It's something that we do regularly because it is part of the service we are providing to the students. This means that our industry partners, they don't really need to be convinced, but they are coming to our campus continuously to set up these apprenticeships because it's in the best interests of both the student, MCAST, and the partner for this to occur. And this is why it's such a good opportunity because not only does it provide you with, let's say, the opportunity to get the apprenticeship, it also tells the student who are the industry players in the field active in Malta that I really should get to know. And it provides them with that opportunity to get to know them. Again, as I said, it puts feet in the door. You know, you're already there. They already know who you are. You're ready to go when you finish the course and move on, building yourself with continuous growth. It's such an important element of what we're offering here. It's not, um, you've done your studies, now good luck to you. It's you're doing your studies, here are your opportunities, take advantage of them. It's in your hands.
Great. So I have been scrolling about MCAST and the few activities that they were doing very recently. I could come across a few students have been moving for representing MCAST to different places in Europe, especially Latvia,
Hmm.
Lithuania, Germany. We could see a lot of activities ongoing. So is it that a student who's performing really well is also given an exposure to go to these various places, specifically universities, and collaborate in
Definitely.
different activities? And how about that exposure, how MCAST can attend that?
Definitely, because MCAS's participation in the Erasmus network and in EU for Dual means that top students will be provided with the opportunities to participate in internships abroad. They can do semesters abroad. They can do projects, as I was saying earlier, abroad. These provide excellent networking opportunities and also another experience to record in their, mobility across Europe. This is something that is quite crucial for the EU, not just Malta now, is that we want a highly mobile society because the benefits that it provides are, one where we have greater transparency, greater coordination, and it allows for a more fluid transfer of skills across the continent.
That's great. So I've noticed, most of the students who are mobilizing, especially for Malta, they are very much curious to know exactly about the placement, spot, whatever they would be getting. I hope they would have been getting the response out of this, and they will be able to get better confidence out of what you said. So just a personal question here on the live show, that how was it for you exactly for the placement that you have got for yourself in like MCAS? Like overall, that how have been your placement journey throughout in Malta? Because of course you were also an international student too.
Yes, 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 yes. No, it was a really fascinating experience for me because obviously I am not from Malta, I'm from Ireland. I had studied in France as well. Um, and I just found that the Maltese people were so welcoming. They were so ready to share. They're ready to help you. And honestly, it just felt like everything was more convenient because the infrastructure is already set up to have someone not from the place be integrated. And that's something that they don't always see elsewhere. So this is why it was so helpful to gain experience of a different culture, of a different way of doing things. And it allowed me to reflect on how I do things myself and how my own culture had geared me to thinking in one way. Whereas now I'm able to compare the different methods and understand that there is more than one way to achieve tasks. And I find that to be quite a useful skill that you can't exactly teach. You need to experience different ways of things being done for you to understand that because you've seen maybe two or three different ways now of how something can be done, you realize that there's a fourth way that is being ignored that could be your competitive advantage.
That's so true. That's so true. How about the taxation policies for the people, those who are like, of course, in their initial phase, they're doing jobs and they're gaining some income out of it, they're making some money out of it. Like just wanted to understand exactly the taxation implication on these people, those who are working over there. Can you just enlighten a bit about that as well?
Yes, yes. So as we mentioned earlier, there are schemes that taxpayers can get advantage to. Now we mentioned the Get Qualified, whereby a tax rebate would be issued once enough taxes have been paid to Malta. But there are other aspects that Malta awards to the work permit holders. So, for example, they will have access to the national healthcare. Right now, this is obviously afforded to students on a special basis, but once they become work permit holders, they continue to have access to this healthcare because they are considered to have funded it. There are many opportunities that taxpayers cannot be denied in Malta because they are taxpayers. It doesn't matter whether they're Maltese or not. What matters is that they are taxpayers. And this is such an advantage for integrating into this community because you don't feel like there's a division between this is what it's for the locals and this is for you because you're a guest. You start to feel like you are also part of the community very, very quickly.
That's so great. Moving ahead, I would love to ask the same question that Nirmal already asked one time
Yes, yes,
about the
okay.
gap that is acceptable. So just a quick
Mhm.
phrase exactly for this question.
So, what we need to think about the education gap is that although at MCAS we are very happy to have persons with education gaps, very, very happy. What you need to think about yourself when you're making this decision is why do I have this gap? I don't mean it as a question to questioning why you stopped studying, but it's more, does the fact that you have an education gap actually line up well with the project that you're going for? Does it make sense to now return to studies? Because if it does, excellent, you have solved the problem of the education gap. You know why you're returning to studies and you know how it's going to enhance your career and your life. And that's what you need to have in hand because you will benefit from this because you could say maybe the visa officer will ask you this, but even the employer will ask you, why do you have an education gap? And if you can easily explain that you had an education gap and you built up experience and then you went back to studies to enhance the experience you already have, you become quite an ideal candidate.
Okay, great. So I'll pick up the next question, which is going to be a health matter. Basically, I've seen a lot of people, those who are having some physical disability, and those who are having some health concerns, basically. And
Mhm.
if they're intending to go for Malta, or if they're
Yes.
not having any, for example, so how does
Yes.
that actually influence their further residency?
So health is an important matter. It's more important than education gap. You do need to have a certain level of health to travel to Malta. This is because when you arrive in Malta, they will do a health screening. And if this health screening is failed, then you can't have the residency. Now, this health screening isn't wondering whether you have treatable conditions like diabetes. It's looking for extreme conditions that you would already know that you have. One that comes to mind is TB. Okay, if you suffer from TB, then unfortunately it'll be something that is flagged and will stop you from being able to obtain the residency. This is why it's important that you are certain of your fitness, that you do a health screening yourself before you even move forward with this process. I encourage it because it's good. It's always good to keep in touch with one's health because it's the first thing everybody has besides everything else. And it's the one thing that once you don't have it, everything else is removed from your experience. So it's very important to understand that you are in good health condition. But if you do have any disabilities, MCAST is an inclusive institution. We're not looking to remove persons with disabilities. We're just highlighting that part of the residency is that there are certain conditions that Worldify are well aware of that will not allow you to get the visa, will not allow you to get the residency. But disabilities are definitely considered for. We have an inclusive education unit at MCAST, and you just need to highlight them privately as part of your application. And then when you start studying at MCAST, we will include the access arrangements so that you can have the best possible experience at MCAST.
Okay, that's a wow response. Moving ahead, the next question gets a little bit more difficult. Okay, so I'll ask you the most desired question by a lot of candidates. They
Hmm.
have been inquisitive whether they would be getting their visa or not. And even today,
Yes.
we are having a lot of people here, those who are working as our sub-nodal partners as well. So their first
Yes.
question to us comes about that. How is the success rate for Malta when it comes to visa, and what does influence success in visa?
Yes, yes. So the success does vary from region to region. We see certain regions getting a better success rate than others. The primary reason is the uncontrollable reason, which is the geopolitical relations between the EU and that country. So, as we indicated previously, there are some countries that will now have preferences. It's always like that between countries. Having said that, that doesn't mean that you can't get a visa. It just means that you need to make sure that you maximize your chances of getting a visa. So you want to make sure there are no documentation issues, that your documentation is straightforward. Simple, silly examples that can really harm a visa application is having one address on your passport and then having a different one on your bank statement. These kind of small little details, having a bank card that's not signed, having a confusing arrangement for your living expenses funding, this can really harm your visa success possibilities. This is why it's so important for you to reach out to official guidance, not to follow rumors that you will hear through WhatsApp, through other social media channels on what you need to do to get a visa. You need to seek assistance from official channels to clarify concerns. This means, for example, you can speak with our partners at Worldify and they will go through the documentation with you and they will ensure that it's in its best possible state. Having said that, there are always additional checks that nobody is privy to that can lead to the visa being refused. It's always a possibility. It just doesn't happen most of the time when you present a strong application. But again, I do need to highlight that it's something you want to prepare for, not to harm yourself further. But if you do take the support that Worldify is offering you, you can definitely assure yourself that you have done everything to the letter correctly.
Okay, so Luke, as you raised the concern of address, so I have a one question
Hmm.
here.
Yeah.
So for an example, there is an applicant, all right, and she is
Hmm.
having her maternal family address in her passport, and she recently got married, and
Yes.
in her another identity card, she's having their, in-laws
Yes.
address. So with
Yes.
the marriage certificate, will that be acceptable?
No, I would strongly recommend that cases like this update their details because that is showing that she's not keeping up to date with her documentation,
All right.
and that would be a reason for concern. That would be a
Okay.
reason for concern. This is why you want to have everything in line as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Any reason for there to be suspicion because of irregularity, what the visa officer needs to wonder is it an irregularity or is it something else?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why we need to ensure that documentation is in line, and this is why Worldify can assist you when it comes to this.
Okay. Okay. So my next question is here, like as Hina said, that majority of our nodal partners, they are not sure about the Malta visa success rate. Because when we most of the time when we discuss with them, they generally say that we are more keen to the another English speaking countries because we are not got the positive results from the Malta. So
Okay.
this is, yeah. So here I want to answer from your end that
Well, I
what
mean,
generally happens.
we we welcome thousands of students every year. So, I mean, from what we see, the visa success rate is very high, as in it's a formal part of this institution now that we have students that will travel on a visa. And I'm seeing a lot of encouraging signs that things will become simpler
Yeah,
as the EU looks to have further synergy with South America, with Africa, with India. We are looking for a more mobile, free world as things stand. So, what persons need to keep in mind, what interested applicants need to keep in mind is that you need to ensure that your documentation is in line because we want you to
absolutely.
have the best possibility.
Absolutely.
Now, what is important to understand about other English-speaking countries in Europe is that they are non-Schengen zone countries.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they're not offering you the same level of access that a Malta Schengen visa is offering you. And because of that, the requirements for the visa to be an excellent application are higher. It is true.
Yes.
So this means that if you're applying for a place like my home country, you're only getting access to Ireland. You're not getting access to the Schengen zone, and therefore, any opportunities that might be linked to Erasmus, you won't be able to access to them because you won't have the immigration rights to do so.
Fees are also a little bit high in other English speaking countries as compared to
Yes, yes,
Malta. This is what I have experienced. Yes.
yes, 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 yes.
Tina, any
Okay,
other
so
questions?
Again.
We have here, like Nirmal already taking care with the team of size of more than 500 people who are taking care of visa filing altogether and making sure the visa filing is done accurately. So I would definitely love to hear back from Nirmal, like what all things do he take care of making sure the success is highest possible. And then I'll ask the next question, which is again way more difficult than the previous one. Okay,
All
go
right,
ahead,
all
Nirmal.
right. So, yes, Luke has already discussed all the things, what are the important documents we require, all right. And as per my experience, what I have seen that uh, you can see fundings, they plays a very vital role in the visa filing. All right. And somewhere, if as per my experience, maybe I'm wrong, but yes, 60 to 70% weightage in the filing is fundings. If a student is not having the accurate funding, they are not managing the balance accurately, if they are not having their, you can say balance certificate, and cards are not signed, they need to check the cards is accessible, overseas, like Visa card, Mastercard, Visa Platinum card. So these are the things which we require. And after that, you have to make a very strong cover letter where if you're having any gap, so you should need to, write each and everything, whatever you are having, and what are your future plans? Why did you choose Malta? Moreover, if you're having any refusals, please do not hide that. Always mention all these things in your cover letter, all right, with the reasons, and provide them the justification on what grounds you got the refusals previously, and now what are the measurements which you have taken in the your upcoming visa file. Apart from that, I think Malta is having one of the easiest files, to be honest with you, as compared to other countries, but still people are facing challenges in submitting the files accurately. But if you're having all these documents, with you, so I believe nobody is going to get a rejection. But from my end, I did not face any challenges like that.
All
Yes,
right.
yes.
The one question that comes very often is like we do face a lot of students, those who have faced rejections, maybe due to some other person who was handling their file or they were doing it by themselves, and then the this kind of unfortunate situation was faced by them. So, is there any possibility to get them reapplied in like to the maximum? How many times did you ever see somebody applying and then getting
Uh,
the visa success at max? Like two,
I
three,
That's a
four,
really
mean,
good
five
question.
times? How many times?
Yeah, that's a
yes,
really
yes,
good
yes. So, I
question.
mean,
Hmm.
we do
Yeah,
see
please.
students reapply, and we do notice that students who reapply um, seem to tend to get the visa afterwards. We have certain cases where they reapplied and they did not get it. We have one case that reapplied three times, and on the fourth time they obtained the visa.
Exactly.
Again, this can be due to documentation issues, but in some scenarios it can also be connected to sometimes it's a change of course because their profile is more aligned to a different course, and it
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
detected even though the student was resisting. And in other cases, it can simply be that now that time has passed, their funds have increased, and so they have a better profile.
Yes.
Generally, with reapplication, you can highlight how you covered what was highlighted last time as the reason for your refusal. As you were saying, Nirmal, having a letter that states that you do cover this
Yeah.
is very important.
Sometimes what happens, student feels that while changing the college they will get the visa, there will be chances of high visa success. So it never happens. If you already choose any particular course, and if you're changing the course, so you should mention each and everything, that why did you change, like why did you choose your
Yes.
program, that program particularly, and previously why did you choose that particular program at that point of time, what was running in your mind, and now if you're changing your course, now why did you choose it.
Yes, you
But
need to be
if they
as
feel that,
transparent
yes,
as possible. As transparent as possible.
yes,
You can't game this system. You have to go in there. You have to give the best version of yourself, but it needs to
absolutely.
be an honest. It needs to be an honest version of yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because we
All
have seen the
right.
cases from Northeast, where the student was having, you can say she was not sure about the documents, but yes, we were. And with the support of MCAS team, when we shared all the documents with them, everything was fine. And I myself was not sure whether she will get the visa or not, but she got her. Let me tell, her name is Helena. She was from Northeast. and her funds were little bit less, but she was not sure. But the file was accurate with each and everything. She provided the genuine reasons, each and everything. But yes, she got the visa. So these things also happens.
Yes, yes, yes. It's just very important to be transparent and provide the
Yes,
best documents
yes,
possible.
yeah. So sometimes people, what they feel is that I'm showing 30,000 euros in my file. Why did not I get the visa? So
Again,
this is one of the biggest challenge,
it's not about listening to other people who applied for a visa. It's about
Absolutely.
listening to official sources. And I'm not even saying that your friend who got a visa last year is lying to you. It's just that the requirements do change. The
Yes,
expectations do
yes,
change, and this is why you need to keep up to date with official sources.
yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, I have a question here, Luke. Whenever it comes to choosing their career, most often, and especially when it comes to visa filing, I've seen people relying more often on YouTube videos and rumors. Their friends said something, and their relative said something who had no clue exactly how Malta visa works. So, do you think it's a good idea to actually rely on any of these unofficial, undeclared sources? And rely on them just on the faith basis without any logic? Do you feel so? It's going to be
No,
a great idea.
no, you can't rely on official sources. And I'm not saying that the unofficial sources are trying to confuse you or trying to trick you. I'm not. It's just that they are not necessarily informed to a degree that we are informed. Um, their information might have been correct, as I was saying, a year ago, but now it's not because changes in
Absolutely.
policies happen all the time,
Yeah,
and we keep up to date with it, and we keep our partners up to date with these changes.
That's true.
We expect further changes this year at some point, and as soon as we know them, we will convey them to our partners, and then they will convey them to you.
hmm,
So if you have an ongoing case and a change occurs, you will be guided through rectifying your application so that it can be as strong as it possibly can be to the contemporary situation. Likewise, because MCAS is always engaging in the industry, we know that the courses we're running are what the industry wants, which means that we can easily navigate the labor market conditions that visas are also being issued on, because we
absolutely.
are providing courses where the industry has requirements for skilled workers.
Coming up on the next question, how soon can a student apply for the PR? Because sometimes, in fact, more often, people are looking for
Mhm.
mobilizing to a country, establishing themselves, making sure
Mhm.
their family is also getting some
Yes,
support
yes,
out of whatever the decision they are making today. So it has to be
yes,
ripple effects for the future. So
it does.
how long does it take to do that?
It takes, if you prepare well, 5 years. And MCAS will assist you with doing so, but it's important to understand that there are integration programs that need to be completed. They are free, they are free, but everybody wants to do them, right? Well, everybody who's here in Malta and who wants to get a PR, they want to do this integration program. This is why we guide our students to actually apply for this program as early as possible, so that they can
Okay,
have it cleared when they get to the fifth year, rather than waiting for the fifth year, applying for the program, and then waiting for the program to be completed. So this can be something that you can do immediately after finishing your studies. These are part-time integration programs. They don't take a lot of time out of you. They provide you with some interesting information you may not have known about Malta.
and how
Um,
much time does it take?
that's the thing. That's the thing. It doesn't actually take that much time out of you. It's 2 hour sessions once a week here and there,
Okay,
but it's the waiting for the course that takes your time away. This
okay,
is why the earlier we can get our alumni to start the course, the better. Because like that, maybe it's only the third year, but they finish the course, and at least they can rest assured that when the fifth year comes, they will be ready with all the requirements to get the long-term residence. The long-term residence is very interesting because it provides an automatic right of work to the holder. So this means that you can easily change employer without doing too many bureaucratic procedures. You can easily travel in the Schengen zone without too many bureaucratic procedures. You can more easily carry out the family reunification application because you can show that you have an established presence in Malta.
absolutely.
Okay, great. So, MCAS degree and diploma, what it brings to the students, is it going to bring them international opportunities? Like, if they really don't want to dive into Malta only for rest of their
Yes, yes,
lives and they want to
yes, yes.
actually go around the Schengen, how does it help them?
Well, it shows to begin with that they successfully resided in one Schengen zone country without showing any problems. So this is already an advantage when you move to another. It's taken into consideration. You carry over the residence in some cases. Depending on the country, it can count as residence in the Schengen zone, and that might be taken into consideration if you're making any application with them for your status in the new country. But when it comes to actually doing the degree and the diploma at MCAST, we are an EQF recognized institution. We're part of the Bologna process, which means across Europe, our degrees and diplomas are recognized as exactly the same as whatever the local degree or diploma would be there. So, what we teach our students in engineering is in line with what the EU directives are for engineers. What we teach them in software development, we get that information from our global industry partners, not just our local industry partners. You might have done a placement with Lufthansa as part of the aviation industry and in Malta, and now you're done with the course and you go to Germany and you can show Lufthansa, I've already worked with you as an apprentice, and that can be very interesting for getting set up with them. So yes, there are plenty of international opportunities even beyond the Erasmus network that I was mentioning earlier. Again, that respond to the EU's desire to have a very mobile European Union, regardless of who you are or where you're from. We want everybody to be contributing as much as possible to our region.
Okay, great. Now is the time then when we are going to announce the final deadlines actually expected for this intake. So over to you
Mm.
for the same. So we shall first prefer speaking about the bachelor's of
Yes,
nursing.
yes. Yes,
Yes.
yes, it's this is a very important one that has a special deadline. So for all courses that are going to start in October 2026, we will start receiving applications next Monday. So on the 2nd of February, MCAS starts receiving applications for these courses, and we start doing the review process. If you manage to submit a complete application, you will get a very fast response regarding your documentation. But there are certain courses like the bachelor's in nursing that are special. So all courses will have a deadline of 30th of June, except the bachelor's honors in nursing. It has a deadline of the 30th of April. The reason for that is because it also has two rounds of interviews. It's a highly competitive course. You will find many opportunities upon completing this European Bachelor's in Nursing across the EU, but because of that, it becomes highly competitive. You need to pass the two interviews. This is why we always encourage applicants for this course to have a second option as well if they want to pursue an application at MCAST, because it doesn't mean that you are not fit to study at MCAST if you don't manage to pass the two rounds of interviews. You just need to understand that if there are 400 applicants, it's going to be whoever manages to
Have
perform
to
the
make
best
through.
and it's just somebody is not necessarily going to make it, and I wouldn't want people to be disappointed in their dream being taken away from them. We have many other related courses. We have the bachelor's in physiological measurements, where you can become a healthcare technician that's actually doing the health tests, which is also another industry that is desperate for skilled workers. We have the pharmacy technician course. Again, a pharmacist is a high demand and highly demanded profession. But having said that, if your heart is set on doing the Bachelor of Honors in Nursing and you don't pass the interview, then you would have to try again next year. This is why it's very important that you get your documentation in order for this, because if you send us documentation all correct on the 2nd of May, you will not be allowed to partake in the interviews.
And what will be
So
the dead
yes.
time of getting offer letter?
Hmm?
If you are sending all the application, if you are sending all the
Yes.
documents in one
Yes, yes,
go,
yes.
then what will be the
Yes.
tentative time to get it?
Now, obviously, for the bachelor's in nursing, you need to clear the interviews. So if you send it early, I can't tell you that you're going to get a rapid response because, again, the deadline has to pass for this course.
And
So you
for
need
other
to,
courses?
yes. But for other courses, if you have everything in order, it's going to be a week turnaround if you're sending it to us early. Okay.
All right.
If you're going to be sending documentation, let's say around certain periods like Easter, okay, which will come up in April, or if you're going to target the actual deadline of the 30th of June, unfortunately, I can't guarantee that we will be able
All right.
to turn around as quickly. So what I try to encourage applicants is that it's you if you have to apply in June, you need to make sure you have no mistakes whatsoever because there's going to be so many applicants that come at the end, right at the deadline, because deadlines have a habit of inspiring applicants to make their final decision. But if you are really interested and you don't need to wait, please try to do it as early as you can because you will get a faster turnaround and that means you have more time to prepare for the visa application, to do
Yeah.
further research into Malta, to settle your affairs in your home country. Because these are all things
Hmm.
you're going to have to do at the same time as applying. So, I mean, I look forward to receiving applicants in February so that we can move them quickly through the process and they can be ready to go as early as April at the visa application center.
All right.
But if you do target the end of June, please note that we will have a lot of cases to go through at that point. And so you are limiting your chances if you pick the deadline. Um, okay, so as much as you can, please, all of you try to get your documentation beforehand. Please note as well that if you do start thinking about applying on the 30th of June, you're probably too late because certain documents will take a while to collect, like the MCURIC statement, even a medium
Hmm.
of instruction letter can take a week to get off an
Yeah.
institution. So the earlier you can make your decision that you want to apply, the better. The October courses don't have an application fee, so you really have nothing to lose in starting an application.
Absolutely perfect. And for
Okay,
the bespoke
superb.
courses, we are having the application fees, right?
Yes, it's bespoke courses we have
All right.
application fee, but the October courses they are because they are not, let's say, a special starting period.
Yeah.
They will be run in October and they will be part of the general tax funded intake. So that is
Perfect.
why.
Okay, great. So, Luke, we would like to have a small message from your end, basically, for the people, those
Mhm.
who have joined the session. There are students, those who are into the same
Mhm.
industry, like they are also helping students to get their
Yes,
study
yes.
abroad dreams achieved.
Mhm.
Like on behalf of MCAS, I would love to hear back from you, a small
Yes, yes,
message for
yes.
them.
Again, as I've been saying, MCAS is very interested in all types of students. Okay, so I don't want anybody worrying that they are too unexperienced, they're too old to be a student. No, we want people from various backgrounds. What is crucial to understand with MCAS is that we will have a course for you. Okay, we just need to understand what your interests are. So the quickest way for you to get that guidance is for you to identify vaguely the field that you'd like to study in, and then you can reach out to our partners at Worldify, and through their guidance, you will find the best course for you. If you do make an application and you're not sure whether it is the best course for you, again, you can return to Worldify and they can assist you. MCAS is very, very, very keen on having students doing courses that align with their interests. And this is why I encourage you to really reach out to all the support that's being made available to you. But it's also important to note that MCAS is extremely interested in having international students because, again, we want a vibrant campus. And we know we can only have that the more different our students are. So the more students we can get from different backgrounds from different places, the better our courses will become, the more skills that our students will develop. As I was telling you before, myself, by experiencing different locations, I develop skills through those experiences and the comparisons of those experiences. And I really hope that if you come to MCAS, you will find the same experience. You will see the contrast between how things were done in your home and how things are done here. And who knows what that could reveal to you. Another thing to understand at MCAS is because we have a variety of different courses, it means you will meet a variety of different people. You might be studying chemical technology, but you'll meet somebody studying aviation. And what could that reveal? What kind of new ideas could you derive from those interactions with students, again, doing various different things and expanding your horizons? So I really do hope that you do apply to MCAS, and I think you've already made a great step by attending this webinar. I'd like to thank Worldify for organizing it again. I really do appreciate the work you all do and the amount of dedication and heart you put into assisting the students. And good luck.
All right. Thank you
With
so much,
this,
Luke.
I would like to especially give my warm thanks to the entire team of MCAS for making sure that we are never alone in this journey of helping students. I would like to have a small welcoming note from Mr. Nirmal Singh Rauthan on behalf of the team Worldify for this session.
All right. So yes, so we would like to thank you, MCAS team, for the complete support, from the day one. And Luke, special thanks to you because we keep on bothering you, sending mail to mail.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not. It's not a bother. It's not a bother. It's not a bother.
Yeah. So we do understand that thing. All right. But yes, special thanks to Maxine as well, who is always, she's always there to, reply me either it's morning, either night. If I'm facing any challenges, I, just message her. But yes, the knowledge which we have gained about international market, from the MCAST, and it's not only for the Malta, it's for the complete European part as well, and how generally, universities and the colleges work, how their mindsets work generally. So it's just phenomenal, and we are going to make sure that 2026 intake will be the rocking intake. All right, and we are completely targeting for this October cohort, and yes, so that's all from my end as of now.
Okay, with this, I would love to actually thank everyone who has joined this session. I myself, Dr. Hina, have been flagging almost all the time the new shows, new topics, new agendas, and I will soon come up with the next show as well. I'm already prepared, I'm already preparing in the meanwhile. So I'll keep you notified. If you've not subscribed this channel so far yet in my understanding, please go for subscribing this channel, and I will make sure that you get best of the knowledge that you can. So all across the globe, wherever you want to mobilize, Worldify is already set to make sure that you can study, work, and settle abroad successfully with our help. And our team is already motivated to do that. So if you wish to actually achieve your dream, please do not forget to call on the numbers that are already there in the description to ring upon. We'll be there at your service. Again, clock doesn't choose your career nor your decision. So we'll make sure that will be 24 into 7 available for you. Thank you so much for attending this session. Sayonara for this session. Let's see you together for the next session too very soon. Bye bye. Good day.
Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye, Luke.